Hey guys, I'm Chris and I'm here with Ed Skrein, the star on the small screen of Game of Thrones and The Tunnel and on the big screen of the forthcoming Deadpool and the Transporter Refueled, which we're here to talk about today.
Yes, sir.
So thanks for coming in. I first want to talk to you about action movies though. What is your favourite action film?
I was a big fan of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Okay.
I felt that Nolan and Bale did amazing things.
Yeah.
Like obviously, Heath Ledger's performance was incredible in that. So you had the layered and textured villains. It was an incredibly dark world, and it almost was more focused on emotion rather than the actual action side of it.
Yeah.
Although there was these incredible set pieces and stuff.
Yeah, and the way he builds the tension in an action scene is really interesting. Like he builds the emotion, he builds the action.
I mean, I think that's something that Phil Silvera, who was the stunt coordinator on Deadpool, would always say that this has to be about the emotion, and we'd stop and we'd say, why are we fighting? Why are you fighting? What are you trying to do? And even each individual move, what are you trying to achieve by doing that? And I thought they did that incredibly well.
Cool. All right. So let's talk about Transporter then. What is this story? Where is this? When is this set? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, it's very much like Bond. They changed the personnel and reboot it as such, but it's just a change of personnel and the same variables, but a different story.
Yeah. So where does this take place in the timeline then is it connected to the original films? Or?
No, it's not connected in that sense. Again, just like Bond, it kind of just jumps into I suppose, alternative reality as such.
Okay, and why do you think the character and the original three films have proved so popular?
I think a lot of it is to do with escapism. I think we work so hard during the week, that at the end, if you are going to go to the cinema, we kind of look to entertainment, whether it's music, television, or whatever, as photography, art, everything is release, and especially in these times, we've just come out of the recession and all of this, so, it's been pretty bleak for a while, and, I think people need that fun, and this is the definition of fun.
It's definitely fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a brief setup for what the story is?
I mean, it's I'm sure you could do that better than me, but it's set in the south of France, and you meet Frank Martin, the transporter, and he introduces his dad to the story, which is very interesting, and is sort of taken out of his comfort zone. Every time I describe it, I do it in this very mystical, cryptic way, but. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I can make sure we throw in a couple of clips to show that.
Yes.
The dad, Ray Stevenson, plays your character's dad, and I really enjoyed the relationship between the two of you. It gave the film an emotional resonance, and it kind of gave you a bit of an understanding of the backstory of this guy. So what was it like working with him?
Ray is a lovely man. He's a complete gentleman, and a master of the craft. He was. Had great energy to be around on set. All of the girls loved him. I loved him. I love the days when Ray was coming on set. I would always look forward to them. And I must say, when I watched the movie, I felt so warm. My favourite scenes were the intimate scenes in the car and in my house and stuff with Ray. Because it does give you some more of the backstory. And Frank Martin is such a pedantic character. He's such a he's stickler to the rules, and so you don't want him to. You need to find your point of endearment, that you need to understand why he's like this, and Ray's insistence on, there's 7 degrees of late and there's only 1 degree of early and 7 degrees of late or whatever. And you see where he gets all of his nitpicking from, and it's that meant a lot to me. I really wanted to base this on the emotional side of it. It was important to me that this wasn't just, another action movie as such, and I really wanted to base everything, seat it emotionally,
And you mentioned the girls. They're quite something in this film. I found them terrifying.
Yeah, and that's what's so great, isn't it? Because I'm so bored of seeing, like, women just as girlfriends and wives, and, we need to have these empowering, brave, dominating roles.
Yeah.
Alpha roles, and
Definitely.
so that was exciting reading the script, and that was also exciting, when we shot it, and all the girls are like that in real life. I was in Denmark watching a screening yesterday, and I was with Tatiana, who plays Maria, and she's like that, you know, she's tough as nails. So, you know, all of the girls are strong in their own way, and it's wonderful. I also love the fact that they're ethnically diverse.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I think I want to see that being explored more. You know, I want more great roles for women and more ethnically diverse roles for women.
And I don't want to go into spoiler territory, but is it possible to have sex with someone just after you've recovered from a bullet wound to the stomach?
You tell me. I wouldn't know. I've never been in any position to answer that question. I would guess it's down to the individual case.
Yeah, that's a great moment in the movie. So what was it like sort of stepping into Statham's shoes then?
I mean, I didn't really think about it. I mean, it was important to me to know what he'd done and to respect and understand what he'd done, so I could, you know, give the fans what they expect and deserve, you know, from the first trilogy. But you know, it was never a movie. It was never a franchise to me. It was always just emotional scenes and emotional content. And you know, I don't watch the dailies. I don't watch rushes. I don't like to look at them on it. I don't like it to exist as a film and such. So I certainly wasn't thinking about, you know, the previous three, and wasn't thinking about how these are going to come out.
At least you got to keep your hair.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I went to Deadpool and they were like, yeah, we want to cut your hair. And I was like, yeah, I think it's good if we just cut just a little bit. And they were like, yeah, we'll start with a little bit. And by the end of it, you know, I was completely bald. But I love to play around with the physicalities and the different sides of things. And, you know, I'm constantly thinking about what I can do next to keep changing it up to look different. And yeah, it was a really fun role.
So what was the toughest stunt or scene to shoot in the movie?
The toughest one, I mean, the moving car was difficult to navigate around. I remember reading the script thinking, how are we going to shoot that? And we did have the most expensive remote control car in the world, probably a 200 grand Audi with a remote control in it, literally. Right.
It's funny because there's stunts that are much more spectacular than that, but scenes like that can be the most dangerous on set, can't they? So yeah,
and safety is, you know, paramount and very important. You know, ultimately we're creating art, and you know, we want things to last forever and it to be a great movie, but no, people need to go home to their families, and it needs to be a safe environment. And I was kind of, you know, fearful of that going into it, thinking, how are we going to shoot this? This sounds terrifying. But as always, it was super safe, super calm. Alain Figlas and his amazing team, you know, made sure that everything was there that needed to be. It was super safe.
I think my favourite action scene that you do in the movie is quite brief, but it's in a corridor with a bunch of drawers either side of you, and you use them to take out three bad guys. And it kind of reminded me of Jackie Chan. Was there an influence there to that, and how did that scene come together?
That scene was incredible. I mean, that's probably my favourite action scene as well. That scene was not in the script. We didn't shoot that scene when we shot the movie.
Interesting.
We did that as a reshoot that Luc Besson shot, directed and created. That was his work, you know, and you'd expect that from the visionary and the talent of such an incredible man.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I suppose it's always with everything, you know, it's about creating, trying to recreate something that's already been done, like an action movie and an action sequence, and doing it and making it original. And you know, Luke achieved that incredibly, and thankfully we achieved that incredibly, and it was great. You know, I'm a big fan of movies like The Raid and The Raid 2, and some of the sequences in that were so unique, and you know, that kind of felt like it could have been in The Raid. It was a great scene to shoot.
Definitely, you nailed it. What are the 3 traits a human being needs to be a transporter, would you say?
It's a good question. When it's a good question, I like to sit down and
take your time.
Take my time. Have we got 45 minutes?
We've got about 10.
Yeah. We'll just sit in silence for 10 minutes while I think about it. No, I mean, you need to be able to, you know, you need to know the rules to be able to break them, you know, and you need to be ready when the rules get broken and everything hits the fan, as it were. You need to be able to deal with that, and I suppose you need a fantastic tailor. You know, you need a good suit.
It does look good.
Yeah.
It looks good. You need to be punctual as well.
Yes, you definitely need to be punctual. That should be the first one. You need to be punctual. Yes.
That comes up a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
And what kind of shape did you have to get into to make this movie? I mean, you had your topless scene, and you look like you've been working out. Is there something specific you had to do, a type of workout you had to do to get in that shape?
Well, what was interesting about this movie was, the way I trained for it. It was the first time in recent years that I had trained purely for functionality. This was not about aesthetics. The aesthetics came through the training, but this was just about functionality. I was shooting 51 out of 55 of the shooting days I was working, so I knew I was going to be, I needed the stamina. I didn't want to get ill. I knew that there was going to be 14, 15-hour shooting days consecutively, sometimes in 35-degree heat in a full suit, that I knew I needed to be able to last, and I didn't want to be physically tired because I needed to be mentally sharp. So it was all about functionality. I didn't pick up a weight for the 4 months. All of it was martial arts based, and then just incredible discipline as well with the food and everything, and that meant a lot to me as well. That Frank Martin's such a pedantic character and such a stickler to the rules, and I kind of lived like that monk. Right. I became a little bit pedantic about everything for the whole shoot. It was great after the shoot to be like, I'm gonna have a cheeseburger and 12 beers, and I'm not gonna get up on time, and I don't want, whatever, and just take it easy after that. But while I was shooting, I was very pedantic with my food and everything, and it helped. It helped get me in the mentality.
Now this film's out on September the 4th. If it's a success and you get to do more films in this universe, where would you like to see Frank go next? What would you like to see explored?
Wow, what a great question. I haven't really thought about it. I must say I am kind of just enjoying the moment now. And what's so funny is I've shot 2 more movies since this movie, so I'm always in this, and I'm already thinking about the next projects, and you're in all of these different mentalities and headspaces, and so to go back and think about this project, which was so immediate and sort of sacred and romantic at the time as a project, and then think about it as a franchise and think about it as a sequel is sort of alien to me. I really can't think about. I really don't think about that kind of things. I know
everyone does that, doesn't they?
No, not me. No, really. I mean, I'm just I'm excited at the possibility of it. I'm excited at what the writers could do with it. But it's I love the collaborative process, and I love the collaborative side of this, that somebody's working on a script for X amount of years or months, by themselves, and then it comes to us, and then it's my part, then I leave, I go and do something else, and then post-production takes over, and I'll leave that to the writers, and there's some incredible writers out there. And
can I make a request? Can you go shoot it in Hawaii and have me come on set to cover it?
I'm back in that.
Okay.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Better than Bognor Regis.
Yeah.